In case you weren't aware, while I personally see myself as agnostic, I'm actually half and half when it comes to religions. My father's side is Catholic, and my mother's side is Jewish. And yes, my Jewish viewers, I know that if my mom is Jewish, that by default makes me Jewish. Still agnostic. Regardless, growing up, we celebrated both holidays, and we actually do a relatively faithful Jewish Seder on Passover, so that makes up for the fact that we stopped celebrating Hanukkah the traditional way when we got Jackie, because lit candles and a dog that likes climbing on chairs and tables are not a good combination. And my mom already hated open flames, so it was just a matter of time. As a kid, in addition to having the Christmas classics that they show on TV, Rankin Bass, The Santa Claus, It's a Wonderful Life, and of course the true Christmas classic, Barney's Waiting for Santa, I also had this VHS tape, Hanukkah Tales and Tunes, that I legitimately have no idea why we own, but what I do know is that my brother and I watched it nearly every year, and still keep up that tradition today, though now we watch it more so to riff on it than to watch it unironically, and I figure that this year I could share that tradition with you guys. Hanukkah Tales and Tunes comes to us from Video Treasures, a company that was a home video distributor dealing mostly in VHS tapes based out of Hauppauge, New York, and Backyard Video, which I can find next to nothing about, save for a page from VHScollector.com, which was up when I did the research but went down for maintenance before I was able to grab a screenshot, that lists their sole release as Even More Baby Songs. Though, of course, we all know that's inaccurate because they released this thing. So, let's pop it into the VCR and watch.
What's on?
Well, I don't know yet. The tape only just started. What follows is a weird intro with a bunch of kids mixed with very unsettling animations.
Hanukkah.
Well, we're not off to a great start. They pronounced Hanukkah wrong.
Hanukkah! You have to when you say it.
The tape opens up with our three leads walking around their very obviously not a real house while planning their Hanukkah celebration. If you don't know what Hanukkah is, don't worry because neither does KJ.
I bet you're wondering why everybody's wandering around.
I know, we're having a party.
A party?
A party?
I love parties. What are we celebrating?
We finally paid off all our student loan debt. It only took 15 years. Boy, are we glad we decided to go to theater school.
We're celebrating Hanukkah.
And we're going to decorate, exchange presents,
Eat great food.
Wow, sounds like my favorite kind of party.
Me too.
Wow, that's one unenthused kid. KJ doesn't know what Hanukkah is, but his friends are more than happy to explain it to him.
It's about a miracle that happened a long time ago.
But not in a galaxy far, far away.
Well, have I ever seen a miracle?
Well, I know that at least 2 people have bought this tape because I own it and someone put it up on YouTube, so I'd say I definitely have.
Sure you have. They're around us every day.
Oh, sounds like a song.
You have no idea what pain is. Remember that we suffered hate.
I think that's pretty much all you need to know about every Jewish holiday ever.
Have you ever noticed the flowers and the trees? That in the springtime we are blessed with the miracle of new leaves.
Okay, I'm gonna level with you guys. I actually really like the songs in this. They're not great, but they're damn catchy and endearing.
Miracles aren't just magic, they need people to help them along.
I will admit, though, that the choreography is really goofy.
Now isn't that a miracle? Each beat brings us new life.
It stinks.
Nah, kid, it's actually pretty decent. Following the song, they go on to explain the actual story of Hanukkah, though I can't for the life of me figure out why they insist on pacing while they tell the story.
It was in the ancient land of the Jews, even before Israel.
The land was called Judea, and it had a new king, Antiochus Epiphanes.
Antiochus Epiphanes, not to be confused with Antiochus's Epiphany, which was when a different king had a sudden realization or insight.
Because he wouldn't let the Jews do anything they wanted.
He was the lowest, the meanest, the no good. It's kind of hard to explain.
So he was the Jewish equivalent of the Grinch minus the heel face turn at the end and with some genocide added in? Not that hard to explain after all.
He was ruthless and impossible and a tyrant at best. He was angry, he was nasty, a persistent little pest. He made life for the Jewish people very hard to take. He told the Jews that he was God, but we knew he was fake, because he said, no, 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 you cannot do this.
Okay, I said the songs weren't bad, and they aren't, but this is a very friggin' jaunty song about a genocidal king.
You may not read the Torah, and you may not dance the horror, and you may not pray any 3 times a day.
I have no words.
Once again our history tells us that we had to fight, so that we could save the Jews and live for what was right.
Now, I'll admit I've never actually read the Torah, but I'm pretty sure there wasn't a tap segment in there. You know, I like to joke about this tape, but I've got to hand it to them. This is probably, apart from the Rugrats episode, the main reason that I've retained the story of Hanukkah in my brain ever since I was a kid.
Okay, I think I get the point. Antiochus was really mean, and he destroyed all the temples. And he didn't let the people sing, or pray, or eat ice cream.
Did I say anything about ice cream?
Hey, if you can insert a jaunty Fred Astaire cane dance into Hanukkah, I think KJ can throw ice cream into the story. And then we get to the actual miracle, where Judah Maccabee overthrew Antiochus, and the oil that was only supposed to last a single night lasted for 8. And if you thought we were getting through that without another song, you're dead wrong.
Walked into the sanctuary, much to our surprise. The place was just a pig pen, we could not believe our eyes.
Wait a minute, where did they get the Jewish temple set?
Only one more day of oil. We need a miracle, yes we do.
Jeez, be careful with those. One wrong rub and you're gonna get a genie, and I don't think he'll be one of the nice ones.
We were very worried till we turned to midnight oil.
That would be inadvisable.
Excuse me?
If you attempt to ignite a petroleum product on this ship at 0 hours, you will activate the fire suppression system, which would seal off this entire compartment.
Seriously, this choreography is ridiculously silly. I keep waiting for one of them to accidentally kick each other in the head during those turns.
And that's why we light the menorah for 8 nights.
And why we laugh and sing.
And play dreidel all night long.
And get presents! Presents! I love presents, too. And what was that other thing you said? Dreidel. Is that another miracle?
It is when I actually manage to roll something other than none. In the event that you don't know what dreidel is, I'll let them explain.
When life was hard under Antiochus, the Jews had to be clever.
Just a little bit smarter than a king and his soldiers. So, they played dreidel while they studied Torah, the Jewish Bible.
I'm pretty sure that the Bible is the Christian Torah.
And whenever the soldiers came by, they thought it was just a game and never knew what was really going on.
Though it did get awkward when the soldiers asked to play with them. KJ asks how to play, and they explain it to him.
Each side of the dreidel has a different Hebrew letter on it. Nun, Gimel, Hey, and Shin.
You spin the dreidel around, and when you land on none, I get nothing.
Kimmel, I win.
Oh, surprise!
Boy, don't try to sound too excited about winning. Though I guess since they aren't playing for money, I wouldn't be thrilled either.
Boy, there sure is a lot to learn about Hanukkah.
Almost as if it should be as prevalent and taught as much as Christmas in the public consciousness, eh? And for the record, I think the same for the other non-Christian holidays like Kwanzaa. Following the lesson, we get another song, but for a change, it's not sung by our cast. It's sung by Billy Mays and Brad Garrett. The song is pretty standard, and... Wait a minute. Is that Orlando Brown? I guess the residuals from this is what allowed Dobbs to become an investment whiz in Max Keeble. And if you thought I was going to go for the low-hanging That's So Raven, or slightly less low-hanging Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off reference, you don't know me very well.
I had a little dreidel. I made it out of mud. And when I tried to spin it, it fell down with a thud.
Oh wow, I was kidding about the Brad Garrett thing because of how he looked, but... that is a hell of a deep voice. But the song's not bad. Next up we get Galia and the Goblin, which is what I can only describe as a Jewish spin on Little Red Riding Hood, though it's narrated and acted by two people with the most polar opposite dress senses ever. Like, she's wearing a normal maroon shirt, and he's dressed in a vest that not even I would wear. The story basically consists of Galia trying to travel through the woods with Hanukkah presents, only to be stopped by the Goblin.
Our heroine was brave and clever, too, and after a moment's careful thought, she knew just what to do.
Somehow that sounds less genuine when I know she's just talking about herself. Also, people say that it looks too obvious that I'm reading off a prompter. Check out this dude.
She dug out her trusty dreidel. Galia knew her luck would hold. She'd had a spinning winning streak since she was 3 years old.
Galia challenges the Goblin to a dreidel match for the presents.
Now, you know as well as I, a goblin has his pride. He had to play.
Because the Goblin has a crippling gambling addiction that tore his Goblin family apart. They play the game and Galia wins, but the Goblin starts crying because he's never received a Hanukkah present before, and Galia gives him one and they all live happily ever after. Well, at least until Spider-Man shows up. We get another non-cast song, this time a medley of Hanukkah songs, sung by some kids that are fairly standard, and none of them are Orlando Brown, so I'm just gonna gloss over them and go back to KJ and the gang. They start talking about latkes, and I am sorry, but that is not a latke. That's a diner cookie without any toppings. Seriously, they couldn't get someone to make real ones for the shoot? But before they eat their inaccurate latkes, they have to light the menorah and talk about the traditions behind that.
Well, then how come there were 9 candles?
The 9th candle is the shamash.
The shamash is the boss.
It's the Bruce Springsteen of candles.
Whoa, it's beautiful. Gee, menorahs, dreidels, there's so many fun things to learn about Hanukkah.
You know, there's only like 4 minutes left. Huh. I guess we're not gonna get a final song, and I just jinxed us, didn't I? Sorry. The final song is a mixture of the song about lighting the candles and an additional dreidel song, and I gotta hand it to those kids. This probably has the most impressive choreography of the entire tape. And before we go, we return to KJ and the gang, where they light the menorah together while singing the blessing. After giving a brief recap of what we just watched,
Now it's time to play dreidel and eat latkes.
And tell stories.
And remember Judah Maccabee.
And laugh out loud.
And sing songs.
And think of miracles.
And open presents.
and watch Billy Mays and Brad Garrett sing the dreidel song with Orlando Brown, and hear the Jewish Little Red Riding Hood story, and hear 2 medleys of Hanukkah songs, and eat giant inaccurate latkes, and recap the story at the end, and... The tape ends with a final rendition of Miracles Aren't Just Magic before the credits roll, and after the credits we get a bit where KJ advertises the rest of the line of tapes, including
Original Tales and Tunes, Silly Tales and Tunes, Spooky Tales and Tunes, Sports Tales and Tunes, Christmas Tales and Tunes, and Hanukkah Tales and Tunes.
And that was Hanukkah Tales and Tunes, a silly, goofy, but ultimately harmless little tape that actually did manage to impart some decent information about Hanukkah. A very simplified version, but it's about on par from what I'd expect from a tape like this. The songs are actually mostly legitimate, real songs created by Debbie Friedman, a famous Jewish-American songwriter, and the songs, like I said earlier, are actually really good. I loved this tape as a kid, and there's still room for me to like it as an adult, but that doesn't mean that I can't riff on it. And this was a long time coming too. I've wanted to do a video on this tape for years, but Hanukkah kept either sneaking up on me or occurred too close to a Christmas review I wanted to do. Glad that I was finally able to do it. I'm actually kinda curious about the other Tales and Tunes tapes too. Maybe I'll have to track those down sometimes. But in the meantime, happy Hanukkah to my Jewish audience, and I'll see you next time as we continue our holiday celebration with the winner of last week's poll. Hope you picked a good one.
Hanukkah, oh Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. Said we will mean to play with the latkes we see. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago.